Pisces, beautiful soul, stop whatever you are doing right now, because what I am about to tell you is going to shake your spiritual foundation to the core. The universe is not playing games with you anymore. It is putting you through the most intense spiritual boot camp of your lifetime. And if you think you have seen tests before, honey, you have no idea what is coming. I just pulled the first card and I am literally getting goosebumps, because this is not what anyone would expect for a Pisces reading about spiritual guidance. Everyone thinks Pisces gets gentle water energy and soft cups cards, but nope. The universe just slammed down the tower and I am shook, because this means everything you thought you knew about your spiritual path is about to get completely demolished and rebuilt from scratch. Listen carefully, because in the next 30 minutes, I am going to reveal exactly why your guides are putting you through this cosmic earthquake, why they are stripping away every single illusion you have been clinging to, and most importantly, what incredible spiritual gifts are waiting for you on the other side of this transformation. And Pisces, I have 3 more cards that are going to blow your mind even more than this Tower card, because your guides are not holding anything back this time. But first, let me tell you about Lisa, a Pisces client of mine who went through this exact same spiritual testing phase last year. She called me crying, saying everything in her life was falling apart, her meditation practice felt empty, she could not connect with her guides anymore, and she thought she was losing her psychic abilities completely. Sound familiar? Well, 6 months later, she became one of the most powerful, intuitive healers I have ever met, and now she helps hundreds of people worldwide. Why? Because she learned to see beyond the words, beyond the surface, beyond what everyone else was telling her about spirituality. The Tower card in your spiritual context is absolutely revolutionary, Pisces, because while everyone expects you to get gentle, flowing water energy, your guides are giving you lightning bolt wake-up calls instead. This is not about destruction for the sake of chaos. This is about your spiritual team saying, we love you too much to let you stay in these comfortable illusions any longer. You see, Pisces, you have been living in a beautiful bubble of spiritual concepts and pretty ideas about manifestation and love and light. But your guides are saying those days are over. The Tower represents the complete demolition of your old spiritual identity. Every single belief system you have been taught, every meditation technique you thought was working, every psychic protection ritual you have been doing, everything is getting stripped away because it was never really yours to begin with. Think about it this way. When a building needs to be renovated, sometimes you can just paint the walls and change the furniture, but sometimes the foundation is so weak that the entire structure needs to be torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. That is what is happening to your spiritual foundation right now. Pisces, and I know it feels scary and overwhelming and like you are losing everything you thought made you special and connected to spirit. But here is what your guides want you to understand about this Tower moment. Every single thing that is falling away from your spiritual practice right now was not actually serving your highest good. It was keeping you small. It was keeping you dependent on other people's systems and other people's definitions of what spirituality should look like for you. Your Neptune ruler has been creating beautiful illusions around your spiritual path for years, making you think you needed to be this soft, ethereal, always positive spiritual being who never questions anything and just goes with the flow. But your guides are saying no more. They want you to become a spiritual warrior, someone who questions everything, someone who creates their own direct connection to source energy without needing anyone else's permission or validation. The lightning bolt in the Tower card is actually your third eye getting supercharged, Pisces. All those times you felt like your intuition was getting weaker, all those moments when you could not hear your guides clearly anymore, that was not you losing your abilities, that was your spiritual team clearing out all the static and interference so they could download completely new levels of psychic awareness directly into your consciousness. And I have to tell you something that might sound crazy, but I am getting such strong guidance about this right now. Your spiritual guides have been intentionally making you feel disconnected from them for the past several months because they needed you to stop relying on external validation of your spiritual gifts and start trusting the raw, unfiltered intuitive power that comes from your own soul. Every time you went to another psychic for a reading, every time you looked up your horoscope online, every time you asked someone else to interpret your dreams or explain what a synchronicity meant, you were giving your power away to external authorities instead of developing your own direct spiritual communication system. The Tower is your guide saying, we are done with that pattern, Pisces. We are done watching you doubt your own incredible intuitive abilities just because they do not look like what you see other people doing on social media or in spiritual communities. Now let me pull the second card because the energy is building so intensely around you right now, and I need to see what your guides want to reveal next about this spiritual testing phase you are in. Oh my goodness, Pisces, I just pulled the Hermit, and this combination with the Tower is absolutely mind-blowing because your guides are literally taking you on the most profound spiritual vision quest of your entire life. While everyone expects Pisces to need community and external guidance, your spiritual team is sending you into complete solitude to discover powers you never even knew you had. The Hermit card is telling me that this spiritual testing phase is going to require you to withdraw from everything and everyone who has been influencing your spiritual beliefs and practices. I am talking about stepping away from spiritual social media, taking a break from group meditations, not asking other people for psychic readings, not even reading spiritual books for a while because your guides want you to experience pure, unfiltered connection to divine consciousness without any human interpretation getting in the way. This is not about isolation because you are broken or damaged. This is about going into your own personal mystery school where your higher self becomes your only teacher and your intuition becomes your only guide. The lantern that the Hermit carries represents the inner light of wisdom that you can only access when you stop looking outside yourself for spiritual answers. I know this sounds terrifying, Pisces, because you are used to being surrounded by spiritual communities and having other people confirm your psychic experiences and validate your spiritual growth. But your guides are saying that dependence on external spiritual validation has actually been holding you back from accessing the full magnitude of your soul's power. Think about all the great spiritual masters and mystics throughout history. They all had to go through this hermit phase where they withdrew from society and connected directly with divine source energy. Jesus went into the desert for 40 days. Buddha sat under the tree alone. Every single powerful spiritual teacher had to find their own direct connection to universal consciousness without any human interference. That is exactly what the Hermit card is calling you to do right now, Pisces. Your spiritual guides want you to become your own guru, your own psychic teacher, your own direct channel for divine wisdom. They are tired of watching you give your power away to spiritual authorities who can never really understand the unique way that universal energy wants to work through your specific soul blueprint. The combination of the Tower and the Hermit is also telling me something fascinating about your psychic abilities, Pisces. All those times you thought your intuition was wrong, all those moments when you second-guessed your psychic impressions because they did not match what other people were telling you, those were actually moments when your higher self was trying to communicate with you in your unique spiritual language. Your guides are showing me that you have been trying to force your natural psychic abilities to work the same way that other people's gifts work, but your spiritual DNA is completely different. You are not meant to receive psychic information through traditional clairvoyant visions or clear auditory messages like some other intuitive people do. Your psychic gifts work through feeling and knowing and sensing energy in ways that cannot be explained through normal spiritual vocabulary. You receive divine guidance through your entire nervous system, through your dreams, through synchronicities, through the way certain songs come on the radio at exactly the right moment, through the way animals behave around you, through the way you just know things without being able to explain how you know them. But because you have been comparing your natural intuitive style to other people's psychic experiences, you have been doubting and dismissing the incredible spiritual information that your guides have been sending you all along. The Hermit is your spiritual team saying enough is enough. We need you to go into complete silence and solitude so you can finally hear and feel and recognize the unique way that we communicate with you specifically. No more trying to fit your square peg psychic abilities into round hole spiritual systems that other people created. During this hermit phase, your guides want you to start paying attention to everything differently. Instead of looking for big dramatic spiritual signs and obvious psychic messages, they want you to notice the subtle energetic shifts in your body when you are around certain people. They want you to track how your energy changes in different environments. They want you to write down every single dream, even the ones that seem random and meaningless. Most importantly, Pisces, the Hermit is telling you to start trusting your first instincts about people and situations, even when those instincts do not make logical sense, and even when other people tell you that you are being too sensitive or too paranoid. Your sensitivity is not a weakness that needs to be managed. It is your greatest spiritual superpower, and your guides are ready to teach you how to use it properly. But I have to warn you about something, because the hermit path is not easy, and your ego is going to fight this process hard. Your mind is going to tell you that withdrawing from spiritual communities means you are becoming antisocial or losing your connection to humanity. Your insecurity is going to whisper that developing your own spiritual practice means you are being arrogant and thinking you know better than established spiritual teachers. None of that is true, Pisces. What your guides are asking you to do is not about rejecting other people's spiritual wisdom permanently. It is about developing such a strong, direct connection to divine source energy that you can receive guidance from any spiritual tradition without losing your own center or giving your power away. The Lantern in the Hermit card also represents something beautiful about your future spiritual mission, Pisces. Once you complete this solo journey of spiritual self-discovery, once you learn to trust your own unique psychic abilities completely, you are going to become a beacon of light for other sensitive souls who are struggling with the same spiritual confusion and external dependency that you are healing right now. But first, you have to be willing to walk into the unknown with nothing but your own inner light to guide you. And I know that feels incredibly vulnerable and scary, especially for a Pisces who is used to flowing with collective spiritual energy and feeling supported by spiritual communities. Your guides are asking you to trust them on this one, Pisces. They know you better than you know yourself. They can see your full spiritual potential in ways that your human consciousness cannot even imagine yet. And they would not be asking you to go through this intense transformation if they did not know for absolute certain that you are ready for it. Let me pull the third card now, because I can feel your guides wanting to show you something specific about what lies beyond this hermit phase and how this spiritual testing is going to unlock abilities you never even dreamed you had. Weicho, Pisces, I just pulled the Ace of Swords, and I am getting chills because this card, combined with the Tower and the Hermit, is creating the most powerful spiritual breakthrough energy I have ever seen in a reading. Your guides just told me something that is going to change everything you think you know about your spiritual gifts, and I need you to listen very carefully to what I am about to reveal. The Ace of Swords represents a complete mental and psychic breakthrough that is coming to you as a direct result of going through this tower demolition and hermit isolation process. But this is not just about getting clearer psychic messages or stronger intuition. This is about you developing what your guides are calling psychic sovereignty. Psychic sovereignty means that you become completely immune to other people's energy, other people's opinions about your spiritual path, other people's doubts about your abilities, and most importantly, other people's attempts to control or manipulate your spiritual gifts for their own purposes. Right now, Pisces, whether you realize it or not, your psychic abilities are like a radio that picks up everyone's signal. You are constantly receiving not just divine guidance from your own spiritual team, but also random thoughts from people around you, emotional energy from your family and friends, fear and anxiety from the collective consciousness, and even manipulative spiritual programming from teachers and healers who are not operating from pure intentions. The Ace of Swords is your guides, giving you a brand new psychic operating system that comes with the most advanced spiritual firewall you can imagine. Once this new level of psychic development activates for you, you are going to be able to receive crystal clear divine guidance while simultaneously blocking out all the spiritual static and energetic interference that has been confusing your intuition for years. But here is the part that is going to blow your mind, Pisces. Your guides are showing me that you are about to develop what they are calling truth sight, which means you will be able to see through any spiritual deception, any energetic manipulation, any false teaching, or fake guru instantly. You are going to become like a spiritual lie detector who can sense authentic divine energy versus human ego masquerading as spiritual wisdom. This is why your spiritual team had to put you through the tower demolition first, because you needed to have all of your old belief systems completely cleared out so that this new level of spiritual discernment could install itself in your consciousness without any interference from previous programming. And this is why the hermit phase was so crucial, because you needed to develop complete trust in your own inner guidance system before you could safely use these new psychic abilities. Truth sight is incredibly powerful, Pisces, but it can also be overwhelming if you do not have strong spiritual boundaries and absolute confidence in your own divine connection. The sword in this ace card is not just about cutting through illusions. It is about you becoming a spiritual warrior who can protect yourself and others from energetic vampires, psychic attacks, spiritual manipulation, and false light teachings that are designed to keep people spiritually dependent and disempowered. Your guides are telling me that there are going to be people in your life who are not happy about your new level of spiritual independence and psychic clarity. Some of your current spiritual teachers or healers might actually try to convince you that developing your own direct divine connection is dangerous or arrogant. Some of your friends and family might accuse you of becoming too intense or judgmental when you start sensing the truth behind people's spiritual facades. But the Ace of Swords gives you the courage and wisdom to handle all of that external resistance with grace and compassion while still maintaining your spiritual boundaries and continuing to develop your gifts according to your soul's authentic blueprint. I also need to tell you something incredible about what this psychic sovereignty is going to do for your manifesting abilities, Pisces. Right now, your manifestation power is scattered because you are unconsciously trying to create from everyone else's desires and expectations instead of your soul's true calling. Once the Ace of Swords activates your truth sight, you are going to be able to distinguish between what you actually want to create in this lifetime versus what other people have convinced you that you should want. Your manifestation power is going to become laser focused and incredibly effective because it will be aligned with your authentic spiritual mission instead of being diluted by external influences. The mental clarity that comes with this card is also going to revolutionize your spiritual practices, Pisces. Instead of collecting random meditation techniques and healing modalities that worked for other people, you are going to intuitively know exactly which spiritual tools and practices are perfectly aligned with your unique energy signature. Your guides might direct you to create completely new spiritual practices that have never been done before, or they might guide you to ancient techniques that most people have forgotten about. Either way, your spiritual routine is going to become incredibly personalized and powerful because it will be designed specifically for your soul's evolution rather than copied from generic spiritual teachings. But I have to prepare you for something that might feel challenging at first, Pisces. When the Ace of Swords fully activates, you are going to start seeing the spiritual community very differently than you do now. You are going to notice how much spiritual bypassing and ego inflation and energetic codependency exists in places where you thought you were receiving pure divine guidance. This does not mean you need to become judgmental or superior to other people who are still working with less developed spiritual practices. It just means you will no longer be able to participate in spiritual activities that compromise your energetic integrity or dilute your connection to authentic divine consciousness. Your guides want you to know that this is not about becoming spiritually isolated or thinking you are better than other people. This is about you stepping into your role as a spiritual pioneer who demonstrates what true psychic sovereignty looks like so that other sensitive souls can see that it is possible to have a direct divine connection without giving their power away to external spiritual authorities. The double-edged nature of the sword in this card also represents your ability to both receive divine truth and communicate divine truth in ways that cut through people's spiritual illusions with love and compassion. You are being prepared to become a spiritual teacher and healer, but not in the traditional way that most people think about those roles. You are going to teach by example, showing people what it looks like to live from authentic spiritual empowerment rather than spiritual dependency. You are going to heal people by helping them remember their own direct connection to divine source energy rather than making them dependent on your psychic abilities or healing techniques. This is revolutionary spiritual leadership, Pisces, and I can feel your guides getting so excited about the incredible impact you are going to have on the spiritual evolution of humanity once you complete this testing and transformation process. Now, I need to pull one more card because there is something specific your guides want to reveal about the timeline of this spiritual breakthrough and what you need to focus on during this testing phase to accelerate your psychic development. Oh, my stars, Pisces. I just pulled the Five of Pentacles, and this is absolutely perfect because your guides are showing me exactly why this spiritual testing phase has been affecting your material world and your sense of security in ways that might have been confusing you. Most people would look at the Five of Pentacles and think, oh no, financial struggle or material lack. But in the context of your spiritual testing, this card represents something completely different and incredibly important for your soul's evolution. The Five of Pentacles in your spiritual journey represents the deliberate stripping away of material security and external validation so that you are forced to rely completely on your spiritual gifts and divine connection for everything you need. Your guides have been orchestrating circumstances that push you to trust universal abundance rather than depending on traditional material security. This might have shown up as unexpected financial challenges, job changes, relationship shifts, or other material disruptions that forced you to question everything you thought you knew about how abundance works in the physical world. But what your guides want you to understand is that this was never about punishment or lack. This was about liberation from material dependency. You see, Pisces, most people never develop their full spiritual potential because they are too comfortable relying on their job, their savings account, their relationships, or their family support to provide security and abundance. When you have strong material safety nets, there is no real motivation to discover the incredible manifesting power that comes from complete trust in divine provision. The Five of Pentacles represents your spiritual team, saying we love you too much to let you stay dependent on limited human systems for your security and abundance when you have access to unlimited universal resources through your spiritual gifts and direct divine connection. Every time you had to figure out how to pay an unexpected bill or navigate a financial challenge or find creative solutions to material problems, you were actually being trained to access higher dimensional abundance through spiritual alignment rather than just human effort and traditional material strategies. Your guides are showing me that you have been developing what they call miracle consciousness during this Five of Pentacles phase. Miracle consciousness means you have learned to expect divine intervention and supernatural provision in ways that defy logical explanation. You have probably noticed synchronicities around money and resources that seem too perfectly timed to be coincidences. You might have received unexpected help from strangers, found money in unusual places, or had opportunities appear out of nowhere right when you needed them most. All of those experiences were your spiritual team training you to recognize how universal abundance actually flows when you are aligned with your authentic spiritual mission instead of trying to force material security through fear-based human strategies. But the deeper message of the Five of Pentacles in your reading is about spiritual community and finding your true spiritual family. The figures in this card are walking past a church window, which represents people who are so focused on traditional religious or spiritual institutions that they miss the direct divine connection that is available to them right outside those institutional walls. Your guides are telling me that part of your spiritual testing has been about recognizing that your true spiritual community is not going to be found in traditional religious organizations or even most New Age spiritual groups. Your soul family consists of other spiritually sovereign individuals who have also learned to maintain their own direct divine connection without giving their power away to spiritual authorities. During this Five of Pentacles phase, you might have felt spiritually homeless or like you did not fit in anywhere spiritually. You might have tried different spiritual communities only to feel like something was missing or like you were not being authentic to your true spiritual nature. That feeling of spiritual homelessness was actually your soul telling you that you were ready to graduate beyond group spiritual consciousness and step into individual spiritual mastery. Your guides were protecting you from getting too comfortable in spiritual communities that would have limited your growth and kept you dependent on external validation. The beautiful thing about the Five of Pentacles energy is that it forces you to discover inner spiritual resources that you never knew you had. When you cannot rely on other people's spiritual guidance or traditional spiritual support systems, you have to develop such a strong direct connection to divine consciousness that you become completely self-sustaining spiritually. This does not mean you will never have spiritual community again, Pisces. It means you will attract spiritual relationships and communities that honor and support your spiritual sovereignty, instead of trying to control or limit your direct divine connection. Your guides are showing me that once you complete this Five of Pentacles spiritual testing phase, you are going to attract soul family members who are operating at the same level of spiritual independence and psychic development that you have achieved. These will be spiritually mature relationships based on mutual empowerment rather than codependent spiritual dynamics. But I need to tell you something important about how to navigate the rest of this Five of Pentacles testing phase, Pisces. Your guides want you to pay very close attention to any fears or anxieties that come up around money, security, or material survival during this time. Every fear that surfaces is actually an opportunity to practice trusting divine provision over human control. Every financial challenge is a chance to demonstrate your faith in universal abundance. Every moment when you feel spiritually alone or unsupported is an invitation to deepen your direct divine connection. The key is to not try to fix or control your material circumstances through traditional human strategies during this testing phase. Instead, your guides want you to focus on maintaining spiritual alignment, following divine guidance even when it does not make logical sense, and trusting that everything you need will be provided through miraculous means as long as you stay connected to your authentic spiritual mission. This is advanced spiritual training, Pisces, and most people never get the opportunity to develop this level of trust and spiritual self-reliance. Your guides are giving you an incredible gift by allowing you to discover that you are capable of thriving and manifesting abundance through pure spiritual alignment without needing any external security or validation. The church window in the Five of Pentacles also represents spiritual teachings and religious institutions that promise security and community, but actually create spiritual dependency and limitation. Your guides are showing you that true spiritual security comes from your own inner connection to divine source energy, not from belonging to any external spiritual organization. As you complete this testing phase, you are going to become someone who can provide spiritual guidance and healing to others without creating dependency or taking away their personal spiritual power. You will teach people how to fish spiritually rather than just giving them spiritual fish, if you know what I mean. Now let me pull one final card because your guides have something very specific to tell you about what comes after this testing phase and how your spiritual gifts are going to be used to serve humanity once you complete this transformation. Incredible, Pisces. I just pulled the Queen of Wands, and this is the most empowering card your guides could have possibly given you right now, because this represents the magnificent spiritual leader you are becoming once you integrate all the lessons from this testing phase. The Queen of Wands, combined with all the previous cards, is painting such a clear picture of your spiritual evolution that I am getting goosebumps. After the Tower demolition, the Hermit solitude, the Ace of Swords breakthrough, and the Five of Pentacles material testing, you emerge as the Queen of Wands, which represents confident, charismatic, spiritually sovereign leadership that inspires others through authentic empowerment. But this is not just any Queen of Wands energy, Pisces. This is Queen of Wands energy filtered through your Piscean spiritual gifts, which creates something absolutely magical and unique in the spiritual leadership landscape. You are going to become what your guides are calling a spiritual catalyst, someone who helps other people remember their own divine power through your example and energetic presence. The Queen of Wands holds a sunflower in most traditional tarot decks, and your guides are showing me that you are going to become like a spiritual sunflower, always turning toward divine light and helping other people orient themselves toward authentic spiritual empowerment rather than spiritual dependency. Everything you have learned during this testing phase about maintaining your own direct divine connection, developing psychic sovereignty, trusting universal abundance, and creating spiritual independence is going to become the foundation for how you serve other people spiritually. You are not going to be the type of spiritual teacher who creates followers or students who depend on your guidance for their spiritual growth. Instead, you are going to be the type of spiritual mentor who empowers people to develop their own direct divine connection and trust their own psychic abilities completely. The wand that the Queen holds represents your ability to channel divine creative power in ways that manifest practical results in the material world. All of that Five of Pentacles training you went through, learning to trust universal abundance, is going to enable you to help other people heal their relationship with money and material security from a spiritual perspective. You are going to teach people that spiritual alignment and material abundance are not separate things. They are actually the same energy expressing itself in different forms. People are going to come to you feeling spiritually rich but materially poor, or materially successful but spiritually empty, and you are going to help them integrate both dimensions of abundance. The Queen of Wands also represents someone who has learned to use their spiritual gifts with absolute confidence and zero apology. After going through the hermit phase where you developed complete trust in your own psychic abilities, you are never again going to doubt or minimize your spiritual gifts to make other people comfortable. Your guides are showing me that you are going to help other sensitive people, especially other Pisces and water signs, learn how to stop being spiritual people pleasers and start being spiritual truth tellers. You are going to model what it looks like to be spiritually powerful and emotionally sensitive at the same time. The fire energy of the Queen of Wands is going to balance out your natural Piscean water energy in the most beautiful way. You will still have all of your natural, intuitive, and empathetic abilities. But now you will also have the courage and confidence to act on your psychic guidance, even when it challenges other people's comfort zones or expectations. This Queen of Wands energy also represents your ability to inspire spiritual awakening in others through your passionate authenticity. People are going to be drawn to your energy because you emanate the confidence that comes from knowing who you are spiritually and what your soul came here to accomplish. But your guides want me to tell you something very important about stepping into this Queen of Wands leadership role, Pisces. You are going to attract people who want to give their spiritual power away to you, people who want you to make their spiritual decisions for them, people who want to become dependent on your psychic guidance instead of developing their own intuitive abilities. The Queen of Wands wisdom you are developing will help you recognize these dynamics immediately and redirect people back to their own inner spiritual authority. You are going to become masterful at empowering people without rescuing them, supporting people without enabling them, and sharing your spiritual gifts without creating codependent spiritual relationships. Your guides are also showing me that this Queen of Wands phase of your spiritual evolution is going to involve some form of creative or artistic expression of your spiritual gifts. Whether that is writing, speaking, teaching, creating content, or developing new spiritual practices, you are going to find ways to share your spiritual insights that reach far beyond traditional one-on-one healing or reading sessions. The sunflower energy of the Queen of Wands represents your ability to help other people turn toward the light of their own spiritual potential rather than getting stuck in spiritual victimhood or dependency. You are going to become known for your ability to help people shift from spiritual powerlessness to spiritual empowerment very quickly. People are going to seek you out specifically because you do not enable spiritual bypassing or emotional weakness. You are going to help people face their spiritual shadows, heal their relationship with personal power, and step into their authentic spiritual mission without drama or prolonged processing. The Queen of Wands also indicates that you are going to develop some form of spiritual mentorship or group leadership that reaches a lot of people. Your guides are showing me images of you facilitating spiritual gatherings, creating online communities, or developing programs that help people develop spiritual independence and psychic sovereignty. But everything you create is going to be designed to make people more spiritually self-reliant, not more dependent on you or your guidance. You are going to measure your success as a spiritual leader by how quickly people graduate beyond needing your support, and how effectively you help them trust their own divine connection. The confidence of the Queen of Wands also represents your complete immunity to spiritual competition, comparison, or ego dynamics that plague many people in spiritual leadership roles. Because you developed your gifts through such intense testing and spiritual independence training, you are going to be completely secure in your unique spiritual contribution. You will celebrate other spiritual teachers and healers who operate from authentic empowerment, and you will simply avoid or ignore those who operate from ego, control, or spiritual materialism. The Queen of Wands energy gives you the wisdom to focus on your own spiritual mission without getting distracted by other people's spiritual drama. Your guides are telling me that this entire testing phase you have been going through is actually preparing you for a much larger spiritual mission that involves helping humanity transition into a new paradigm of spiritual empowerment and individual divine connection. You are part of a group of souls who incarnated during this time period specifically to model what post-institutional spirituality looks like. You are here to demonstrate that people can have profound spiritual experiences, develop incredible psychic abilities, and live from deep divine connection without belonging to any religious organization or following any particular spiritual authority. The Queen of Wands represents you stepping fully into that spiritual pioneer role and becoming a beacon of possibility for other souls who are ready to graduate beyond traditional spiritual dependency and step into their own spiritual mastery. But your guides want me to remind you that becoming the Queen of Wands does not mean your spiritual growth ends. It means you step into a new phase where your continued evolution serves the spiritual evolution of others simultaneously. You become a living example of what is possible when someone commits completely to their own spiritual sovereignty and authentic divine connection. The sunflower in the Queen's hand also represents the solar plexus confidence that comes from knowing your spiritual mission and having absolute trust in your ability to fulfill it. After everything you have been through during this testing phase, you are going to have unshakable faith in your spiritual gifts and your capacity to serve others from a place of authentic empowerment. Beautiful Pisces, I have pulled 6 powerful cards for you today, and the message from your spiritual guides could not be clearer. You are being put through the most intense spiritual transformation of your lifetime because you are being prepared for a level of spiritual leadership and service that requires complete spiritual independence and psychic sovereignty. The Tower demolished your old spiritual identity. The Hermit taught you to trust your own divine connection. The Ace of Swords gave you spiritual discernment and truth sight. The Five of Pentacles trained you to rely on universal abundance. And now, the Queen of Wands is calling you to step into confident spiritual leadership that empowers others to find their own direct divine connection. Your guides want you to know that every single challenge you have faced during this testing phase was perfectly designed to develop specific spiritual muscles that you are going to need for your upcoming mission. Nothing has been random, nothing has been punishment, everything has been preparation for the incredible spiritual service you are about to provide to humanity. The universe has been testing you, Pisces, but not to break you down, to build you up into the spiritually sovereign, psychically powerful, abundantly manifesting spiritual leader that your soul came here to become. Your guides are so proud of how you have handled this transformation, and they cannot wait to see you step fully into your Queen of Wands energy and start changing lives through your authentic spiritual empowerment. Trust the process, beautiful soul. Trust your gifts. Trust your connection to divine consciousness. And most importantly, trust that you are ready for everything that is coming next in your spiritual evolution.